nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper.
In regards to the Daisy situation.
Oh, that any of the big claims. Yeah, she hasn't really proven any of the super controversial big claims.
Okay, so why don't we just start here? How do you think this is all going to end? I have a theory of how it's all going to end. I want to see if we align.
My theory is, if I had to guess, my theory is going to be that nothing comes of any of this. Nothing happens.
Define nothing.
She's either not pregnant or she's already gotten an abortion, and Fresh is not going to pay out or do anything. That'd be my guess.
Okay. I don't think we're too far off. I also think she's probably not going to keep it. I don't think it makes sense to. I don't think it's also in the best interest of the child. So I mean, as much as I like memeing on Fresh and Fit, like I don't think it's a good thing. So I don't think she's gonna keep the kid. I think she's pregnant. I think she's pregnant with this kid. I just don't think she's gonna keep it because I mean, you have to think from her perspective. You know, she's a Chinese national. She's gonna go back with a half black kid. I highly doubt that. And what's more, it just doesn't make sense for the kind of lifestyle that she's living. And it seems like she really wants to be with somebody. So like, why price herself out of like a lot of dating options in the future to have a child with Bug CEO? So it just doesn't make sense for all parties. And I just think it's also not good for the kid. So I think it's probably best. That's my theory on what's probably gonna happen. I don't think. It makes sense to keep the kid, even for child support. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Okay. So going backwards, I think what we probably disagree on is like motive and all these other things, but you feel like bias might play in a role in how I've talked about this. So I'll just talk about some of the things that you might have said that I thought were kind of weird. I don't know if you. Yeah. So why don't we just start with you feel like she's a sophisticated person, and as a result of being sophisticated, it doesn't make sense that she's making these dumb decisions. You don't think she's an idiot. And you think she is sophisticated, so it doesn't make sense that she's making some of these dating choices.
Yeah, or rather, like when I say sophisticated, I mean like she has prerequisite knowledge in this particular arena of being with guys that have a lot of money that are flying you out and doing stuff. Like, so my guess is she should be able, and she's older, so she's like had time to like live in this world for a while. So I would imagine that she's a relatively competent actor in this sphere. So it would seem weird to me that she would fall for a boy in 1 month and want to have a baby with him and everything. That seems, I don't think I can work that in my mind. Yeah.
Okay, so the things that you said before, she's well traveled.
Mm-hmm.
She competes for bodybuilding. She has like a well-known Instagram, and she's 28 years old. Like based off those qualifiers, you feel like she should be sophisticated enough not to make dumb dating decisions.
Not to fall for, I mean, you can still make dumb dating decisions. That's a little bit too general, but not to fall for somebody like Fresh. This should be like right in her wheelhouse of stuff that she's familiar with or aware of. That'd be my assumption, yeah.
Wait, why would that be your assumption? I don't understand. I don't understand what all those things would have to do with falling for somebody who's love bombing you.
Because she's dealt with, from everything that I can see, what it looks like is she's dealt with a lot of Juns. She's done escorting stuff. She's familiar with like boyish type behavior or lifestyles. Yeah.
Okay, well, why don't we just start with that first claim? Like the escorting stuff, according to Fresh and Fit, she's never been an escort. According to herself, she's never been an escort. So why are you saying she's an escort?
I don't see how she's like traveled to so many places and taken pictures and looked like she's in like an escort advertisement all across her Instagram. That's hard for me to reconcile. It's possible that she just takes those types of pictures and goes to places like Dubai on other people's money for those types of reasons is possible, but I'm more inclined to believe that there's some other type of transaction.
What kind of pictures? You admit she already did bodybuilding. She's done beauty pageants. Why wouldn't she have photos like that on her Instagram?
Photos advertising that she's in Dubai, like, and she's not taking modeling poses. Well, keep in mind also, when we say modeling, there's different things we mean there. Modeling can mean like you're actually a model and you go and you do modeling events, or modeling can mean you post sexy pictures on Instagram. She definitely seems to be more in the latter category there for the types of things she posts on Instagram. Like her, like on all fours in front of a pool with an incredibly sexy outfit and fake boobs. It's not like a modeling portfolio folder. That's just like a sexy photo. And you might say you're like an Instagram model or something, but
yeah, that's plenty of Instagram models I know do the exact same thing. They post a lot of these photos. They travel. They go to these places. They do little brand deals. Like that's not. Like I'm someone who's very comfortable saying like someone is an escort, they're an escort. But there's like no. Here's the thing: you're concluding this, and you're using that to make your further conclusions. But
well, to be clear, hold on. To be clear, I'm not concluding it. That's just what I feel is most likely. Like I think that's most likely, and then I'm building off of what I think is most likely. Yeah, but I don't know.
Well, you are though, because to be fair, you called her subhuman filth and a lot of different things, and I'm assuming you're not going to make such strong statements about somebody's character or the fact that whatever they should deserve if you haven't concluded.
I'm making strong statements about that having nothing to do with her past and everything to do with the fact that she's already decided that she's cutting the potential father of her child out of her life forever, and now she's running around the media circuit basically attacking him. And it seems like nothing that she's doing has anything to do with the child's well-being in mind. That's what makes her subhuman filth to me. That doesn't matter if she's an escort or not.
Okay, so we can discuss that real quick. We'll go to that briefly. So you've given Fresh quite a lot of grace for how he reacted when she told him she was pregnant.
I don't think so. What do you mean by grace?
Well, you said, listen, I can imagine that he's reeling from it. He doesn't know what to do because she's just told him that, so he probably doesn't have the best reaction.
Mm-hmm. Possibly, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So wouldn't you agree that her finding out she's pregnant and then him telling her I'm not nothing to do and then disappearing on her would make her have a really adverse reaction?
Yeah, it's possible you could. Although for a timeline, I'm pretty sure they'd already broken up before she was pregnant. Number one. And then number two, I can understand, yeah, her having like
freshly broken up though.
sure, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I can imagine her having like a negative reaction as well. Yeah, for sure. But she's not just having a negative emotional reaction. She's going through like a pretty concrete set of steps of like, I contacted a lawyer, then I had a conversation with him where I asked him leading questions, and then I recorded it, and then I leaked it on my Instagram, and now I'm going around a media tour attacking him and then posting a ton of pictures proving my pregnancy and everything else on my Instagram story. That's not just like a random emotional response. Like if she would have been tweeting out like, I was with Fresh and he misled me and now he's pregnant. He got me pregnant and now he's abandoning his child. He's not gonna do anything. Blah blah blah. I'm like, oh, I understand that. She's like emotional, but she's not just going through like quote unquote emotional steps right now. She's going through like a pretty intentional set of steps to effect a certain outcome. Is what it seems to me.
Steps can be intentional and also be highly motivated in terms by emotions. That's not uncommon. Someone can make you really angry and then you become vindictive at that point. When within a short span of time, you go from not much talking to all of a sudden blowing up their whole spot. That's not abnormal. Like I'm curious to you. Why you think her set of decisions can't be based off of an emotional response to him completely rejecting her, not only from a relationship standpoint, but also from the pregnancy standpoint, where she's not, being told like, I don't give a shit, it's your problem. I don't know why these set of actions afterwards don't fall in line with that. Plenty people get rejected really hard, and then they go on social media, they start a campaign after their ex on Facebook, or they start contacting a bunch of people. Like, yeah, people do that out of an emotional response to a bad situation.
I mean, even if I were to grant all of that, you could still be a bad person because of the type of actions that you take in response to your emotions, I think.
Sure. You could say someone is a bad person for that, but I don't think what she's doing right there with somebody calling her essentially a liar and saying like, I'm not going to be involved in all this is, beyond the realm of possibilities or something that it's like, listen, morally, do I think this is a good thing? No. But I can understand someone wanting to be vindictive towards somebody who basically got them pregnant and basically said, it's your problem.
Yeah, that's possible. But I mean, I say that if you're doing this and you're using a baby to be vindictive, you're subhuman trash. I mean,
all right.
Because you're prioritizing your vindictiveness and everything here over your, I guess, like over any potential future relating to your child. Like a kid you bring into the world. It seems like a really bad idea to me. And a really poor moral character, I guess.
Okay, I can get with that. All right, coming back. So, let's see here. On the sophisticated thing. So you think she's an escort. You thought all these things make her a sophisticated person. And so she shouldn't fall for the type of people like Fresh.
Yeah, that would be my assumption, yeah. Because otherwise, at this age, traveling as much as she does, she would have already fallen at this point for somebody else doing some dumb shit like this. That'd be my assumption.
Beyond the fact that, okay, well, her being an escort is up in the air. You can agree you don't know, but you're just assuming. Beyond that, how many times do you see influencers who are of a similar age or even older, people who are well-traveled, people who have huge followings, people who date quite a lot, and they often make incredibly stupid dating decisions in terms of falling for really dumb people? Would you not find that comparable? Like, I know most of the people who are influencers who are really popular make some of the dumbest dating decisions possible in terms of who they choose as partners. Why is that any different for her? I guess what I would just say is I reject the notion that because somebody's popular online and that they're well-traveled and that they're 28, they're going to should be making sensible decisions or avoiding boys. Like, no, I don't think that has anything to really do with it. I think people are just very prone to making bad dating decisions.
Okay, so there's a specificity to the type of stuff that we're talking about here. When I say that she's well-traveled and I say that she's 28 years old and she's dealt with a lot of guys like this, I'm not saying that this is a person who is impervious to making bad decisions about relationships. What I'm saying is that this is a person that should have a lot of familiarity with guys that fit the exact archetype of Fresh. She should know exactly.
What's that archetype?
Like guys with a lot of money that front a lot, that like talk shit and talk to a lot of girls and are just trying to fuck people and fly girls out and all that, like the love bombing, the weird type of shit like that. That I would imagine that she would have a lot of experience dealing with like tons of guys in this archetype or this category. That doesn't mean that she couldn't necessarily have other relationship problems. It doesn't make her a master of all relationships. To compare this over to the influencer world, right? The reason why streamers end up having problems or falling for people isn't because they have a ton of experience there. Usually it's because of a lack of experience.
Here's the truth. Maybe she has dated multiple dudes just like Fresh, and she's fallen for it every time.
That's possible, yeah.
And that's also a possibility. People make dumb dating choices all the time on things they should know better, and them not knowing better or all that stuff is not something I would use against them to say you're not credible. People are really fucking stupid when it comes to who they choose as their partners, and we see that all the time. It doesn't matter whether they're players. I look at Fresh. Fresh should know better. How many times did he deals with Instagram thighs? But he can't help but bust inside them and be a fucking retard. People should know better. Just because they should doesn't mean they do, and it doesn't mean it reflects in their dating choices.
The comparisons are just so different here. Like, if you want to talk about like Fresh being retarded or whatever, I can agree with you. But the difference is that typically for guys, you can get away with making a lot more mistakes in this world than you can for girls. Like, for instance, if a guy and a girl both come up to me and they're both 33 years old and they're active in bar scenes and hooking up and shit, if the guy were to say like, yeah, like I walk away, I get a drink, I'll leave it on the counter, I walk away for a long time, and blah, 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 and then I come back, like I might believe that, sure. If a girl told me that, I either wouldn't believe it, or I'd be like highly skeptical of a lot of what she's telling me, because a woman faces a lot more risks there than the guy does, like leaving a drink uncovered, just walking away, and then coming back to it later, right? So when you say like, well, Fresh is retarded because he's done other things, yeah, of course. But I think in his position, in a way, he's rewarded for his retardation a lot, because if a guy fucks a lot of girls and is a player, especially in their world, they kind of get rewarded for it. So it works out for him. But for her, I don't think it would have worked out up to this point. I think
that's not what the red pillars would say. That's not the truth. They don't get rewarded for it. They often get swindled out of their money. That's one of their biggest fears, according to them. They're terrified that they're going to get the wrong woman pregnant. They're terrified that they're going to get caught up with somebody who's going to put them on a case.
Sure, that's fine. I'm not trying to speak to their worldview. I'm just saying that as a general rule of thumb, like a lot of the things that Fresh is doing and fucking a lot of chicks and being kind of reckless, whatever the fuck, generally there's less penalties for that. He can make it farther in his life than a woman making the same mistakes. I don't think that you can get that far as a woman making those mistakes.
Yeah, I don't even think that really factors in that deeply, because even though that might be true, but you know what? Actually, no. I would concede. Let's say that is true. I still think people would make the dumb decisions irrespective, because I don't think people think about the long-term consequences that deeply most of the time when they make their decisions. That's why a lot of these people are having sex raw, even though they shouldn't. Yeah, there's more risks for women, absolutely, to let a man have sex with you raw. But guess what? Women will still do it, even though they know better, even though they know what teen pregnancies are like, even though they know they might have to do an abortion. They still make dumb decisions because people are very much up in their feels about dumb choices.